Hey guys, welcome to the tech capital of the world. It is .NET week, and today's the release of .NET 6, one of the biggest releases in the industry to date for us that are writing code for a living or ones that want to learn how to code, Kevin. And today, I don't think is any better day than to jump on this bandwagon. What do you think?
Today's the day. Lots of new and exciting stuff.
Today is the day. Very few times that we get these releases that I think are fundamentally going to change a lot of things. And I follow a lot of the guys from Microsoft on Twitter. That they don't follow me back, but that's okay. I still like.
Hold on, some of them do. Some of them do.
Some of them do, maybe. So but there's one in particular that I've started following. It's a guy named by the name of David Fowler, which is one of the engineers behind deep into the internals of .NET. And I was looking at his tweet this morning. It was like crazy that Microsoft has reorg the teams around and changed their goals and what's a metric. Like, in other words, how do we count .NET success? Like, how do we do that?
Oh,
like, you're working on the .NET.
Okay.
How do we kind of figure out, like, if you're being good at this or being successful at it?
Okay,
and he
so
said he went to upper management and he talked about like that performance is a feature, and they finally came around to that point. And so a lot of times when we're releasing things, they go, hey, make a shiny new thing, make it spin, make it do this, make it do that. And they never really go back and look at like things like performance. And he just says hashtag performance is a feature. And I think that when people start converting to .NET 6, when they see that they had, 12 servers running and now it's 6, or like, their usage rate and their expense rate went down by 50% on Azure or AWS, people are going to move over to this thing. It is freaking fast is what it is.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. If you can lower those overheads like that, of course people are going to look at it.
Yeah. And so I think what I've been saying for the last year now, and I know that people think I'm a shill for Microsoft. I'm really not, but this is what it looks like when a multi-billion or $1 trillion company decides to be the best in the world at something, like the best in the world at this. This is what it looks like. They can put 50 or 60 people and just say, make .NET the fastest framework on the planet, make that do it.
Exactly.
Now, you could say, if you look at the benchmarks, they only got down to like Go and Rust. But then when you look at it like, okay, and that's in one metric, but when you take the whole thing as a whole, framework improvements, like the tooling and all that kind of stuff, they're just going to be the best in the industry. And when they're the best in the industry, lots of companies will adopt the tooling, the framework, and the languages and everything that they do, which means that then they'll turn around and hire people to do this. So as coders, when we're looking for jobs, we don't typically get to dictate the technology to the company. That's not usually what happens. The company comes in and says, I'm hiring for this. Now sometimes you'll work at a company for a long time and the boss will come down and go, hey, what should we build this next thing on? And you get input. But for the most of us,
and usually when that question comes around, though, your answer's wrong, because it's what you think is cool at the minute and what you want to actually work on. And the company should probably be like, should we really build that in that technology? It's been out for 5 minutes.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting. It's fun.
Flavor
exactly.
JavaScript's out is.
It's usually what it is. Yeah, the latest JavaScript thing.
So here's the thing I want to start out with. This is like, when I get excited about this, it lets me think about like where I get energized about the future. I get energized about things that I want to do, things that I want to build. I get energized about the course and things like that. And I just want to reach out to the people that are out there today and you think you can't break in, or your efforts up to this point have failed. You went to a boot camp or you tried to learn online, you do that stuff. It just hasn't worked out for you. I just want to tell people today that you can always start over and jump into when there's another shift afoot, and which there is an absolute shift afoot in the industry. And you can learn a brand new skill that no one else does and get a job doing that. And I think .NET 6, and then, with our WASM shirt here, I think you're going to see things like Blazor coming out. And then with the announcements from Meta or Facebook, you're going to start seeing a move into visuals like VR and AR type applications. And I think that's important. So all these shifts are happening at once, and there's no better time than 2022 to learn how to code. So even if your efforts have failed up to this point, quit looking around and saying, I can't do this, or blaming others and the reason why, and start looking at inward and say, what do I need to do to break into this industry? Because it's going to coding and software is going to drive the entire economy in the United States. I mean, like it's going to be everything,
and it's global too. I mean, and I think we see a lot of people that feel like they've missed the boat.
No,
like you missed the boat. You're always going to feel that way. Trust me. There was people in like the mid 2000s that are like, man, I missed the boat. Didn't I? I missed the boat. Think about that. Think about what's happened between now and then. A lot of stuff. You haven't missed it. We're still in early days of what this is. It just we're still in very early days.
Yeah, and so when you have my experience of like 25 years doing this, I can tell you I missed certain screen shifts. Okay.
Right.
Now, I was working for a company when the web one happened in '97, and I stayed at that company. I remember very specifically a guy that I was working with that came beside me. He told me this, and I didn't believe him when he told me this. And I'm going to tell you what he told me. He said, man, you are really, really smart. Why don't you come and partner with me in this new web firm that I'm doing? And I was at I was at Aon Consulting working the job, and I'm like, nah, I'm good here. You know, I'm getting paid okay. You know, but this is going to be huge. You know, and I just didn't know what I didn't know.
Oh, it's a gamble, isn't it? It's security versus the unknown. Like,
after I started my company, and I'm sitting there in, you know, it was probably 04, 05, you know, whenever the iPhone first came out, and the graphic designer that was working for me at the time goes, "This is going to be huge. Mobile is going to be huge," and I'm like, "Is it though?" That's really what I said. Like, really? Like, you know,
you were that guy.
So I was that guy, and I skipped that screen shift. I promise you right now, I'm going to attempt to build stuff in multiple arenas this year. So, like, I'm going to look into things like NFT. Like, what is that about? What is something beyond art that NFTs could be used for? Right. You know, so like, and I think other people are going to think of these things, and they're either going to execute them or they're not. And the ones that do, they're going to do really well.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And so like, you know, when you talk about Web 3.0, and then when you talk about Web 4.0, you're like, say, hey man, we need to look at AR and VR. We need to look at those things. But what all sets us apart is you got to learn how to code to begin with.
Yep.
And that's why you should start right now, because then once you learn how to code, you can do it.
So good.
Exactly.
That's it.
The second of it. He's right, man. He's right. Restless Tinkler's right. So
that is totally it.
But I just want to encourage people today that, man, just jump in this thing both feet, and just don't let people tell you can't do it, and just jump in and do it. So it's better not.
And don't get stuck on kind of like the complexity of it either. If you get stuck on something, move past it. Don't. I see a lot of people like spinning their wheels on one thing. They'll get stuck on one thing and they cannot work past it. Like, forget that thing. Come back to it. Work past it. You can. There's a lot of different paths in this thing. Pick a path, roll with it, keep rolling with it. Don't get stuck on something.
Yeah, and I think that what they also try to do is memorize code. Like, they try to memorize everything, and they're trying to understand every single aspect of everything, and they can't get past that until they understand everything. And what I want to tell them, to those types of thinkers out there, and I understand how you feel, but like every day you get in a car and drive it, and you probably couldn't work on it. You just accept it. And so what I'm saying is there's certain things you need to accept that works, and just do the things that you can control. Like learn a high level language like C# and JavaScript, and, you know, and you don't have to understand how every single thing works. The gatekeepers in the industry will tell you that. They're the ones that still change the oil too in their car. You're like, you need to be able to change the spark plugs.
No,
like,
this is true. This is true. There is a guy. This is totally true. There are people out there that will tell you shouldn't own a car if you don't change your own oil. Like, what are you talking about? But there are people that genuinely believe that. They believe that if you can't do that one thing, you shouldn't own the car. You need to be able to do these things. No, you don't.
Right. And then what I want to tell those guys, you know, Teslas don't have oil. I think they don't. Right? But Teslas don't have oil, do they?
You got to change the batteries. Now you
yeah, right.
Now you got to know how to change your batteries in your Tesla.
2,000 pounds of batteries.
I wouldn't want to be doing that. Yeah.
But anyway, so I just want to encourage people out there today. And then, so shameless plug, we think that .NET 6 is going to be huge. We think there's going to be lots of opportunities out there for people to do it. We're going to be the first bootcamp that's teaching that. So if you're thinking about, and I've convinced you, you're like, hey man, I'm going to learn how to code this year. I think the best way to do it still today is an in-person and virtual class where you get to talk to an instructor on a daily basis at Coder Foundry in person, 40 hours per week minimum instructor time. Like the instructors are with you every single day. Like they're talking to them every day. Anytime you have a question, you can answer it. And not all boot camps are the same. And I'm not like outing anyone else or how they do it. But even at university, you don't get to talk to your instructor every single day. So like,
you barely get to talk to them at all. They show up for an hour to lecture and then they disappear, and you get to talk to a TA. Period. That's it.
And then
if you go to a big university,
on Thursday at 3 p.m. or something,
Right.
Ours is every day, and so I think that's the best way to learn. And then we're going to teach you the relevant skills in the self-paced course as well as we roll out .NET 6. It'll take us a little minute to get there. People have asked, when is .NET 6 curriculum coming out? And we're like, okay, it's literally released today. Okay, so like we could have recorded stuff earlier, but it would have been on pre-release versions of Visual Studio. Pre-releases of the framework. Things are in change, things are in flux, and so we want to make sure that when we teach it, it is on the stuff that's called the general availability, the GA releases of the .NET 6 framework and Visual Studio, the tooling. So we'll start doing that today. It's going to be, into first quarter next year before we get self-paced caught up with in person. But if you want to do it in person, we're going to teach .NET 6 starting January the 4th. So the very first cohort. So just think about it, sign up or go somewhere else, man, if you don't believe in us, but like go somewhere else and learn how to code too.
Exactly. Just learn to code somehow.
Just somehow, some way break in to do it. So I think that'd be great.
Yep.
So I'm off my soapbox now, Kevin. What else is going on today? I'm just hyped for .NET 6.
I think it's awesome. So slightly off topic, just to recap what we did yesterday, because we had a big day yesterday. We put out a whole bunch of stuff yesterday. I'm just going to kind of run down just real quick what we kind of did. We pushed out new stuff into the self-paced course. So if you're in the self-paced course, and you weren't here yesterday and didn't hear, we pushed out the Movie Pro application and bug tracker. This has so the Movie Pro has, if we go in here real quick, you can see we have, when we come down here, this introductory feature set. We're going to add a secondary section here too with an expanded feature set as well. That's coming. So we have that. And then in the bug tracker too, that is out here now as well. You can see we're always all the way through the services section in here. There's 3 pages worth of services. There's a lot. There's a lot to make here. And some of these videos are like an hour plus long. There's a lot of content here. So so we put those 2 things in the course yesterday. So that was pretty awesome. We also launched a scholarship yesterday too.
I know. That's kind of cool. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, so thanks to Paytel Communications and Apex Analytics for supporting the Code the Future scholarship. We're going to put 5 people, 1 year's access through the course with additional help too from Bobby and the instructors. That's going to be awesome. So if you're interested in this, you can go to coderefinery.com/CTF, and that will take you to this page. And actually,
just hit the quiz, hit the application. And then we'll pick a few finalists from those applications. We'll interview them, and then we'll pick 5 people, announce it in January. But you have till December 5th, I believe. The dates are on there to apply.
December 7th.
Yeah. And so if you think you can't do it, apply.
I had somebody I had somebody in, I think it was in Discord.
We don't know how many people are going to apply. Are we going to get 10,000 applicants? I don't know. But what if we get 12? All right, you have a really good shot of us picking you out. So let's, we're going to give these away. We're going to pick 5 people. So put your name in the hat, be a little bit brave, and just go for it. This is what this new year thing is about, man.
Somebody had put a message on Discord talking about like, hey, like the $99 is too expensive for me. The $5.99, I'd like to do that, but it's like still too expensive. Like, well, what are you talking about? We literally launched a scholarship yesterday. Go apply for it. Please apply for it. If you genuinely can't afford the course, but you want to still do this, this is exactly what this is for. This is why we partnered with these guys, Paytel and Apex, so that we could offer this to you. Please apply. If you think this is for you, you fit the criteria, please apply. We want these to go to people. We want some of you guys to be able to benefit from this.
It should be awesome. It's going to be awesome, and five people will get access to the course, and we'll help them get a job and do those kind of things, and let them get that dream software job. So it's kind of cool.
Definitely.
All right. Say hello to some people or anything else?
What else from yesterday? Oh, so we had that stuff. What else did we do yesterday? Oh, pricing. We changed the pricing yesterday. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
If we go,
so
take a look at this.
Some good pricing out there. So like we have, so like if you want to go to the course and figure out how to price it, you can get two choices: $99 a month and $594 a year. And then for the guys on YouTube, we have the special coupon code TACO, and so you hit apply. That's going to give you 115 off, so $479. That's like $39 a month. It's over 50% off, obviously, and so like that's we think that's a fantastic deal if you want to take advantage of that.
Yep.
Never a better time to get it. And so as we add content to the coding bootcamp, you'll get all those updates. So when we add the .NET 6 stuff in, you'll get it next year. So I think that's really cool. All right.
Yep.
Awesome. That's about it, man. So sign up now for Code Foundry Apply if you want to learn .NET 6 in the in-person virtual, or if you want self-paced, hey, we got a good deal for you out there too as well. So remember that coupon code TACO. So think about that.
And even at these prices, which we think are great, if you can afford it, great. That's awesome. That's kind of why we're doing it. We want to help as many people as we can. But if you can't and you still want to do this, that's where the scholarship comes in. Go to that link I put in chat, codefoundry.com/CTF, apply for that. Don't think, don't rule yourself out. Let us rule you out.
Let us rule you out. So
just apply. Yeah, just apply.
Bare minimum, you probably get to talk to me for 30 minutes. I mean, that's worth something, right, Kevin? I mean, I don't know. I'm just kidding. Well, I was going to apply.
I was going to apply, but now I don't know. Do I have to?
Can I just talk to Kevin? Yeah, sure.
So somebody wants to know, I have had a few questions. So are remote applicants applicable? Yes. You can be from anywhere in the world too. It does not that does not hold you back. We do ask you where you are in the form that you're going to fill out, but that's. And
I would say too that if you're on the other side of the planet, Australia, India, or something like that, and you want to work with the instructors, you will have to be on East Coast time to get that help. We're not going.
Yeah, if you can take the virtual class, Yep.
So like that's the only thing.
Yep. For the scholarship though, you can be anywhere.
You
can be anywhere, just like you can be anywhere to take the virtual class period.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, we got a super chat.
Man, look at that, Alberto. Thank you, man.
1169. Oh, I wonder where you are. Where are you, Alberto? Put in chat where in the world you are, because I'm not quite sure what currency that is. That's interesting. Push that up here real quick.
So he wants to know what design pattern we use for these types of projects. So what we do here, we teach here, Iran, is we're going to teach Web API, and a lot of times that follows kind of the controller pattern, sort of like MVC. But inside of Web API, there's a lot of things that we have in there. Dependency injection is also included. There's a lot of things that go on in there. So what's cool about Visual Studio is Web API has the templating out there for you that already has the pattern built in. And so I think you can learn a lot by using Web API, Visual Studio, and just looking at the templates right out of the box that you need.
So it actually cut off his comment here too. The last line actually says repository or maybe clean arch with CQRS.
Yeah. So I'm not sure like what they're following like there. Our repository, we can show you those patterns. I don't think we use those really. But what we're doing is just showing you how Microsoft is putting these projects out. It's very easy to do, and I think that you'll see what I'm talking about. Now we are building a Web API course, and a lot of people thought we were going to announce that yesterday. The reason we didn't is because we're building on .NET 6 and we're waiting for the tooling to come out. So that is the first thing we'll probably do, and have it out sometime before the end of the year. That's our goal, was to get it out before the end of the year. As you can tell, it's already November. That means we've got literally 6 weeks to put something out and put it together. So we're working on that. And then, so then you can learn how we do it with C#. But if you want to see how these are put together, we're going to talk about some things at .NET Conf this week there's a couple of things you might want to watch on .NET Conf to see how they're doing it. And again, With .NET 6, you can build this with the community edition. So that's a free tooling and everything else, and then push it wherever you want. It runs on any host. So if you're in the self-paced course, we show you how to push things to Heroku, which is a Linux-based host with no containers or anything. You just shove it out there. It's kind of cool. All right, hope that helps, Alberto. Thanks for the super chat.
And Alberto's in Romania too, by the way, so that's awesome.
Okay, cool.
That's super cool.
All right.
Thanks for watching us all the way over there in Romania. That's super, super cool. I love seeing where all you guys are from. I think it's great.
Yeah, cool.
People
all over
from
the
all
world.
over the world.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. It's super good. Okay, so let's talk about, while we're talking about .NET Conf, let's talk about .NET Conf.
Yeah.
It's today.
Yeah, so today, it starts today. It's ongoing. It started at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here. And so it's going right there. So if you click the purple button, Kevin, at the top, we'll show them at the top. You can get to the live feed right there. You can also follow them.
Hear this.
Yeah. So that's Scott Hunter, and there's Scott Hansman on the right.
Oh, there's Scott Hansman with his Run DMC style shirt. I like that.
Yeah,
we need to send him a WASM shirt, don't we?
We need to send him a WASM shirt. I'm sure he would love it. So,
oh, that's funny.
So like you can watch it there, or you can watch it also on YouTube. But let's talk about things that I'm paying attention to, and so you may want to look at. So right off the bat, you could look at the 130 there, Introduction to Maui, if you're interested in what that's all about for cross-platform development. That could be kind of cool. So
it's kind of funny that they are still continuing to talk about this a lot, though, doing this, because I noticed there are a lot of stuff talking about it. Even though it's not like it's not released as part of this other stuff, they're still talking about this. It shows you that they're still committed to this. Because I think when .NET MAUI got pushed back, so it's pushed back to Q2 2022. When that happened, I saw a bunch of naysayers like, "Oh man, they're going to abandon this thing. Maui's done. Like I knew they couldn't come to this." No. They're saying we're still in on this. We're 100% still in on this. It's lit. I mean, look, after the
Kevin at the 1 o'clock enterprise grade Blazor apps with .NET 6. I think that would be interesting. If you're a language nut, even at 12:30, what's new in C#? If you're already actively involved, you just want to see kind of what's going on. But the ones that I think that you should pay attention to, our crowd, is to move down to around 4 o'clock. Alberto, watch this one, minimal APIs in .NET 6. I think this will give you a better understanding of where they're going and building APIs, and you'll see how easy it is to do. And at 4:30, also core MVC and Razor pages. I noticed a question here on what I was looking through that we can answer. Aziz, I can't say it. AZIZ.
Hold on.
Let's ask his question right there, because it kind of goes in line with it. You know,
the first one or the second one? Which one?
The first one.
This one?
Yep. Yeah, if I don't care about APIs for the moment, should I use MVC controllers or use pure Razor pages without MVC controllers instead? I think right now you're going to use, you can use Razor pages or MVC. I would use MVC. I think it's a better in-use pattern. It's more applicable to other things if you want to skip over to like Spring or jump over to somewhere else. I really like the MVC design pattern. Razor pages is built on MVVM. It's a different pattern. They call it a different thing. But in general, MVC controllers, I think, is the best way to go at this point. I think it's easier to build a CRUD app with MVC versus pure APIs. It's much more difficult to, and they're making it easier, but you have a lot more security concerns when you're running all your code on the client side with JavaScript. Whereas MVC, your pages and views are rendered on the server side, so security is a little bit easier to do. The tooling for scaffolding and all that kind of stuff is built in, so it'll generate views for you. So I think you'll get your page up quicker than you will with an API thing. Not saying that you don't want to build a single page app with an API, you can. I just think that an MPA, a multi-page app, is coming back in vogue. And I still think to this day, MVC is a way better pattern to do it. And I'm sure that people can disagree with me, but you could do one or the other and it doesn't really matter. I just think MVC is in more use right now than Razor pages is. So I hope that helps. All right, so back to .NET Conf. All right, so I would pay attention to the 4 o'clock minimal APIs and 4:30. I'd watch both of those. If you're considering the self-paced course, you're in the cohort now, you're watching this and you're learning from us, I would watch both of these. Stuff. These are the ones that we're watching today as a staff. We'll watch this between 4 and 4:30 today. Yep. And then I think at 5 next generation Blazor components are kind of interesting to me, but the one that's really, really kind of cool was down there at 7. At 7 o'clock. So this is interesting to me because this is exactly what we're doing in our self-paced course, and I find this kind of fascinating that me and Microsoft are on the same wavelength on this thing, though I know they built it. It's their wavelength. I'm just along for the ride. But in general, the out of the box with minimal APIs and the Web API .NET 6 doesn't include identity. And so like when you do an MVC project, identity is built in. And that's because it's a little bit more difficult probably to get the templating to work. So our course is going to be built with .NET 6 and identity in the Web API and showing you how to bring that feature set in there so that you can have roles and claims and authentication and authorization built into your API. So I'm real excited to watch this one. So just to see if we're thinking the same thing. We did the same thing.
The promise of lots of demos, which is the way you want to see these things.
Yeah, that's all I want to see. Demo.
There you go. I like that.
I'm really excited about that. So that's and if we go over to Wednesday, maybe we'll go let's schedule Wednesday. I think down there it's you know, you could look at the ML.NET. It's kind of interesting if you want to look at data science. Definitely full stack at 1:30 with Blazor WebAssembly and Azure static websites is something you want to watch. For sure, we'll be watching that. And then it gets 3:30 at serverless.net with Azure Functions, I think is something that you would want to pay attention to. You know, and then, you know, there's some things around 5, another thing about APIs, modern APIs with EF Core. If you're really into APIs, I think that's number at 5 o'clock is something to watch. And then there's a lot of them in there that you'll find be interesting that you can go, but that's the ones we're going to be looking at. And it goes on into the night, man. I mean, you know, yeah. So if you want to benchmark your app, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, how much
and then
stuff
keep on going. I forget.
Wow.
Later in the morning, if you're just staying up, you know, and you just got like stuff to do, keep scrolling down. I think maybe it ends at 2:30 in the morning.
2:30, yeah, it ends at 2:30. Yeah.
Okay, so then if we come back on Thursday at 8 a.m. is the one I'm going to look at. This is the one I'm pretty most. 8 a.m. Thursday. Is it 8 a.m.
Oh, okay, there you go. You knew this one off by heart. Creating NFT with .NET.
That's what I'm going to look at.
There you go.
So I'm definitely going to be looking at that. There's some ones around 3:30 in the morning that's I'm probably watch on replay because I'll be asleep.
Yeah.
But building a production ready Blazor WASM app.
There you go. That's awesome. Yeah, we definitely need to look at that. Yeah, and I'm assuming they're going to put all these back on demand too, which is kind of nice. You can watch all. I hope so.
I can't remember what they do, but like, there's a lot of content out there. So go to just type in .NET Conf 2021 and then just go look at it. But today, between 4 and 4:30, I think there's 2 good ones today for sure that you may want to pay attention to.
There you go. I threw it in chat.
All right, so that's all the announcements. .NET Conf is this week, and Visual Studio is out, released. .NET 6 is out. Now it's time to get to coding, man. I mean, like it is just really cool.
There you go. Visual Studio is today, so you can go to there.
Yeah. So, but Kevin, you've got Visual Studio on your machine, don't you?
I do. I actually have it right here. Look. There you go.
Theme support. Look at that theme.
Put a cool little theme on it. Yeah. You can do this like under
what theme are you?
Under tools and theme. This Cobalt 2 theme. I thought it was kind of cool.
Okay.
It's like this dark blue green theme with like these oranges on it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Definitely Coder Foundry. It looks ish. You know?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is. When I saw the colors, I was like, oh, they are like the orange with the. We can have a similar color to this green blue that we use as a secondary. I was like, oh, I like this, and you can. I guess you can build your own too. I've not played with that yet, but maybe we will. Maybe we'll do a CF. We've been messing
around with that. We're thinking about doing our own, but like I don't know. It's like there's a lot of themes out there.
Yeah, so there is. And actually, if you want themes too, that's the other cool thing. You can like customize this now too. If you go to themes and get more themes. And pull this up. You can see all the themes look. So you can go sort by installs. You can see the most popular themes. So I was using
some of them are kind of strange. Like why is Claudia IDE 300K? I don't know. But like
I think it allows you to like. So this is like
your background.
Yeah, this one allows you to like put different images in the background. That's what it allows you to do. You can put any image on the background. So you can take this and you can have like right here in this area. You can put any image. So, or texture or something, or like, it's, it's kind of interesting. It serves its purpose, I guess. But yeah, there's a Marvel theme too. We were talking about that last week. There's like a Game of Thrones theme. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of cool stuff here.
Yeah, Beyonce theme. So yeah.
Oh yeah, the Beyonce one. Yeah, that's here somewhere. I don't know that is here somewhere.
It's not as installed as much, but it's kind of pink and purple.
There you go. It's here. Look.
There it is.
It's here. So you can get
700 installs. That's not bad.
Nah, it's all right. Cool. It's all right. That pink is just like a little.
It's hot. That'd be
bright.
It'd be hard to read on, in my opinion, on the day to day.
Probably.
So like on your daily.
Yep. Exactly. But yeah, lots of cool stuff. It's very cool. Been playing with it just a little bit. It's obviously not something I do every day, so for me it's a little bit different. But seems cool.
Yeah. So I'm rocking the standard new dark theme with the new Mona Lisa font. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, they've changed up the font. I've heard a lot of talk about the font in here.
I like the. So I definitely think coding fonts make a big difference in eye strain and things like that. So I really like the font. So it's kind of.
So here we go. Here's an interesting question. Is actually I have a point about this too. So 2022 be backwards compatible with no issues because they're using 2019 the new job that they were doing. So here's the cool thing. We were literally talking about this morning, Bobby and I. So with .NET 2022, it comes out of the box with .NET 6. When you install everything, it just comes to .NET 6. You can choose to install, if you want, .NET 5. So here's what Microsoft is saying. They're saying they know timelines for development can be multiple years, right? They're thinking about like game developers and things, right? So if you're developing a game, it can take multiple years. And what do? Never upgrade their tooling over that amount of time?
Yeah, that does happen in some shops, Kevin. It does happen.
Well, in the past, it's had to.
Like I know guys right now that are rocking Visual Studio 2015.
Right, because they've had to.
Because they're on .NET Standard. Yeah,
exactly, so because they've had to do that. Well, now what they're saying is you can update tooling while keeping the same frameworks. So you get the cool bells and whistles of the new tooling, but you still get to keep your same framework for the whole thing. So yeah, apparently it is totally backwards compatible. I was able to put .NET 5 on Visual Studio 2022 literally with the check of a button. So if you're in the self-paced course and you want to use Visual Studio 2022, it's pretty easy to set up. As far as I can tell, I've not run into any issues with it. I installed .NET 5. You just go into the installer and you go into the packages and you basically check a box as .NET 5 and you install it. It's
the other thing, Sean, is that you can run these side by side, which I'm doing right now. I have them both on my machine. And they've been flawless in how they've insulated from each version. All right, Justin. All right, Just Oran's thing.
Just Oran's thing.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. That's some tacos there.
Oh, that's awesome. Junior Roll starting coming Monday. Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yes. I love that.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. So, Sean, you can run them both side by side, and then you can figure out if it works for you, and then you can the team can figure that out too. But sometimes teams will stay on their version of Visual Studio before, but I think Microsoft knows that it being 64 bits a big deal, just that alone, and that teams are going to try it out. I mean, and then you just pick the framework that you want to target. So
and that's the thing, you can try it out, but then like Bobby said, you can also run Visual Studio 2019 at the same time. I'm talking about literally at the same time too. You can actually run side by side if you wanted to.
Yeah, and you can uninstall them with no problems. And
I noticed the installers and the uninstallers were great. So I had 22 pre-release on mine, and I was playing with that. And then when the final one came out yesterday, I installed that, and it installed separately. And I still had a pre-release version as well. And I was like, they want to keep the pre-release? I'm like, no, I'm going to move on. So I installed it. There's literally a button. I uninstalled, and I just got rid of it. That was it. It's very, very easy. They've made it very seamless now. It's way better than it used to be. So yeah, definitely give it a shot.
And you can I can give it a shot and probably be just fine.
Yep.
All right, cool. Good question.
Yep. Okay, so let's do some more questions too then, if we're done talking about
that
stuff. Oh, one more thing. I did want to talk about one thing.
Plug of learn .code routing.
I did. Well, there's always that.
Yeah.
Put that up.
Yeah, there's always that. Yeah, learn .code routing.
I'm quick on the button, and I do. By the way, I do have a button I push. I literally push a button. There it is. Look, I push that button and it pushes it up. I have a lot of stuff on button, but that's one of the things I do have on button. There is a book got published today too. So this came out today. It literally published today. So it's the new C# 10 and .NET 6 from Pact. Probably a great reference material. So if anybody's interested in this is probably the book that if you're going to get a book as a reference, this is probably
we'll put a link to it in chat if you want to buy it. If you want to go after it.
Yep.
So if you're watching it and you want a resource, some people like books.
Yeah, here you go. I'll stick it in. Nice to have as a reference material, you know. I think you can get the, what do they have? They have the paperback's $50. You can get the Kindle version for $35.99 too, which is kind of nice. So that's cool. Okay, let's go look at.
Yeah, so Rich Redder has a great comment here. I think we should put in there about IntelliCode and VS Code.
Oh yeah, that stuff's very it's cool.
Yeah, so he is right about this. You will notice a big difference, Rich Redder, if you just by changing over.
Yeah.
The code ahead stuff is really powerful instead of Visual Studio 2022.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're going to add
that tab key.
They're going to add the GitHub pilot thing too, is my guess. They added it to Visual Studio Code, so I'm guessing they're going to have a version of it over here at some point. Although maybe not, because the IntelliCode is kind of similar. It's not quite as AI driven and smart, but it does a lot of like your type ahead stuff, and it knows kind of context and stuff too, doesn't it? It's pretty smart.
Yeah, it's pretty smart. I think you'll notice a big difference by changing over. So that's cool.
Definitely pretty smart. Yeah. Okay, let's do some questions here then too. So Ninth Vibe says, where would you start with coding? Which language did you start with?
So for me, it doesn't matter because the language I learned early on doesn't really exist anymore. So like, basically, believe it or not, when I went to college, they were still teaching COBOL in the late 80s. So I was in there and then did some 4GL, some things called Focus, and Assembler even. And then, but once I hit the industry, the shift happened. And this is what I'm talking about, screen shifts. So I never coded COBOL professionally ever. The first job that I had coming out of it was doing something on Windows development in PowerBuilder. And then from PowerBuilder, I went to VB6. And then from there, I went to VB.NET. And then from there, I went to C#. So that's the primary languages. And along the way, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, all those things. So if I was starting today, I'm still focusing web development today. I still think that's where you want to go. And you want to pick the framework that best gives you the most opportunity to get a job with. So for the building websites, you're going to have to know HTML, you're going to have to know JavaScript, you're going to have to know CSS. I think CSS can be easily achieved with Bootstrap. And so that's where I go. That's where we default to in the self-paced course. That's how we learn CSS in there. That's how we're focusing in on it. And so you can know enough about how to build out websites, how to build out templates with Bootstrap, and then you know enough JavaScript to be able to communicate to the DOM. We go through that in the self-paced course, and then you need a server-side language like C# or Java. And we think C# is the one to pick right now. With the industry moving to this, you're just going to see them adopt it in droves next year. So ASP.NET is what I would pick on right now. That's what I would start with. I'd start with the framework and learn all the things to build websites. So I hope that helps.
Okay. Oh, this is kind of the same question, really. But where should I start? Maybe, maybe not.
Same thing. Start with web development. If you don't know where to start, that's where you start. So start with web development. And the best way to do that, I think, is take a course like at Coder Foundry or Udemy or something like that. Start with something small like that, and then if you want to go to Bootcamp, you can do that. So 0 to hero on the Bootcamp isn't impossible. It's just really hard. So take some coding stuff before you plop down a lot of money into Bootcamp. Bootcamp will get you there faster, but like take a JavaScript course or
make sure that it's going to be right for you.
Yeah. See if it's right for you. See if you like it. You know.
Yeah, you might end up hating it. That's
try before you buy.
You know? Exactly. Before we do another question, look, hold on. Shameless plug for the shirt because we're both wearing the shirt.
Wasm to the moon, baby.
These came in, so we both got the same ones. I was like, I know which one I'm gonna buy, and I was like, which one do you want, Bob? And you picked the same one that I'm gonna get. So I was like, oh well, we're matching on the shirts, but they do have we do have these options too. So this is the one that we grabbed, but I might get this.
The
one
NASA
too.
colored
It's kind
one.
of cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah. I might get it too. It's very NASA colory. Yeah, if you're up for a WebAssembly shirt, you can always go check that out. I will throw that in chat too. Second.
We're just full of all the shameless plugs today.
I know, we're like shilling everything today. You know, that's how it is.
If
like,
you want to call me a Coder Friendly shill, then that's okay. You know, like, you know, so like that's kind of what we're doing. But like,
there you go.
Let's see if we can help someone out today. So if you got any burning questions, put them in chat, and then if you need us to answer it and it's something you just can't do, just hit us with a super chat. Buy me and Kevin some tacos, and we'll answer your question for you.
There you go. Cool. Okay, so can we demo something on .NET 6? Not today, but maybe we probably will at some point. We'll definitely
I think we've got a video in the works.
We do.
We have
a quick throwing up we have a throwing up a Foundry project in .NET 6. So we're going to put that out here soon.
It'll be on, and then we'll do that instead of doing that live. It gets, we'll do it as a pre-release so we can edit it together and make it something good.
We did record it live. It's gonna be one of the instructors. Yeah, it's gonna be one of the instructors. So it's cool. It's good. So yeah, so that's kind of coming. Look on our channel for that. So Aziz wants to know, will VS22 run on Linux and Mac?
So Visual Studio will run on Mac OS. VS Code will run on Linux, but Visual Studio doesn't run on Linux that I know of.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to push it.
And they're different products. Be aware that they're different products. They're trying to get them to be the same. Now, the one thing about the Mac OS project for Visual Studio 2022, it is for the first time a native Mac app, which is kind of cool. So like natively for that.
But it's still, this is not the final, it's still in preview.
You know, it's always going to lag behind Windows, probably, but not maybe always. I mean, so they know that you want to code on a Mac.
Yep.
So, but right now it's just it's pretty good. It's just not the same product as the Visual Studio 2022 on Windows.
Yep.
But you can do it.
Yep. I think they're trying more and more for parity between these, right? They're trying to
and the main thing is
with every time they get better.
Not like an Electron app or something like that. It is a full native app. So that's cool. That's the big news for people that want to code on a Mac.
Yeah, I don't know if this preview is. It is Apple Silicon too. Look, so that's an important thing for a Mac. If you've got a new one, like this part right here is the thing.
M1.
This is you want to look for this M1 everywhere for your apps from here on in. So you know if you've got a new Mac, which you know they're all going to move to this eventually, but that's going to be the thing to look out for. Mine shipped, by the way.
Just look at all the release notes, pay attention to what they're saying about it. But for right now, if you want a bulletproof experience, it's the Windows still today.
Yep. Yep. My Mac did ship, by the way. It's
all right. Cool.
It's coming all the way from China.
One's coming in.
So it's coming in. It's on a boat from Shanghai. That's. I think it's on a plane.
In a container ship in the
plane.
port of LA. So like
Well, no, I think it's on a plane. It went from Shanghai then to you can track it, right? When you get the tracking thing.
Yeah.
It went from Shanghai to Japan, and then I think it's going to go to Anchorage next, come with FedEx. So it's going to go to Anchorage, and then it's going to come down somewhere on this side of the country. So it's really going halfway around the world. It's pretty cool.
All right. Cool.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yep. So that should be good when that comes in. When that comes in, we'll test a few things on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. Riku says it's a preview Mac, but not Linux. Yeah, and I don't think there ever will be a Linux. I just have this feeling they just don't seem to care about it.
I think they really look at usage rates and they just feel like.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like a market that they're just like,
you know, so like the install base is definitely larger on Windows, and that's where they're going to spend most of their time.
Yep.
You know, and maybe it is self-centered in their part, but hey, man, they make Windows. I mean, like,
right.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, like, if you're on a Mac, you can run Parallels and run Windows on it, so it's not that big of a deal, which is what I do.
Yep.
So I'm running a Mac machine with Parallels.
We'll see what that experience is like on an M1 too, and when we can do that.
Yeah.
So how important are data structures and algorithms for web devs?
I think for interviewing, it can be. You do see some of these questions that come out to it. I think the most things that you're going to see in most web devs, especially in the U.S. right now, the current, what I would call the current groupthink around interviewing is you'll see looping over arrays and things like that, algorithm type questions that may be like palindrome or find duplicates in an array or find the largest element arrays, things like that. So you can find all of these algorithm type questions on there. Do I see linked list questions much? No, I don't see that very much at all. So I see some questions sometimes from CoderByte where they're asking those questions, but I don't think most interviewers are asking those right now in the US. They may ask them in other parts of the world because it's more important to them. But if you're interviewing for a web dev, I mean, like, man, just focus in on that demo, man. So,
Casey, thank you for the super chat. It's good timing.
All right.
How should you customize Bootstrap site for production? Good. That's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
I like that because I think.
Yeah, we'll pull that up in a second. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it does get a bad rap on like what.
It does, think. And I think they've done a lot to fix it from 4 to 5. That's.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. So I think it's important. I mean, but I don't think it's the only thing. I think the most important thing is having a demo and a portfolio project you can show, and you can overcome that. But if you see it, hey Brian, thank you, man. Thanks
Brian,
a lot. Have a great Taco Tuesday. I'm going to go get some tacos today for sure. So like, yeah,
it.
Thank you. Thanks, Brian. So anyway, I hope that helps, and it's important, but it's not the most important thing, I don't think, right now. But yeah, study some go to Daily Coding Problem, Leak Code. There's a lot of sites out there that have those right now, so it's kind of cool.
How weird is that? Cool. That ghosted on the screen look.
Yeah, I know. It's just ghosted.
I don't know why. That's the first time I've ever seen that.
Okay, what do we do?
I'll see if I can fix it. Well, let me see.
Open.
I mean, I can definitely take it off. Let me see if I.
There it goes.
I don't know. Weird. No, that's strange. So, just so you know, Super Chats might not be working for a few minutes here.
Okay. All right.
At least for today.
How should you customize a Bootstrap site for prod? Let's put that question up and see.
Yeah. Let me.
So we can ask his question, Casey here. So, Casey, there's a couple things you can do. There's the easy way, and then there's the Sass way, where Sass gives you variables exposed to your thing. You also can look up the variables, and if you're thinking about colors, which is when people are talking about this, what they're talking about, they do expose a complete color palette in Bootstrap 5 that you can get through Sass. So that's how you would if you need to like implement your colors. But also, you don't have to use the default colors. You can just override them and put those in the root variable of your CSS file if that's what you want to do. Other than that, man, I mean, it's HTML. So like, there's nothing about Bootstrap that is anything that makes it look bootstrappy, you know, other than maybe the nav bar. You're like, that nav bar, but that looks like every other nav bar on the planet. So like, I don't know, but mostly in the colors, you can look it up. It's pretty clear on their instructor set how to do it. So they have some of the best documentation in the world. So if you know about Sass, then you can compile it and get it in. You also can bring in the entire website and don't use CDNs and bring in the entire CSS into there. And then in the top of that, you'll see the colors defined in there, and you can just override the colors right there, where you can say primary is now this color, and this secondary is this color. And then it'll just flow through naturally, just like it would.
I think that's what kind of gives it away a lot, isn't it? It's like it's part layout gives it away, and then colors, if people use the colors. And that's what they recognize that as like critical feedback. And they did between 4 and 5, they added a lot more colors too. The standard ones, they added different shades of colors to make it easier to change those. People were like, oh, that's Bootstrap blue. It's like literally out of the box. And it was if you knew it, it was easy.
Exactly.
But you're looking at it through the eyes of somebody who knows it, don't forget too. So don't always worry about like that either. The customer looking at the site, they don't understand Bootstrap. They've never seen a Bootstrap site before. They're not going to tell you like straight, oh, that's Bootstrap 5. I'd seen that a mile away. No, they don't know.
And it's not a Bootstrap site. All Bootstrap is a CSS framework that you use to construct your website with. I mean, you know, so if you don't like the nav bar at the top, don't use it. You can make a nav bar links without using the nav bar component. If you want nav bars running down the left-hand side for like a single page app where you're scrolling up and down, there's lots of examples out there how to do that with Bootstrap. But it's just built with CSS and HTML. I mean, like, there's no magic to this other than they have a lot of components that you can use, you know, like that are built in. So it's kind of cool. So I think it's somewhere around 80% of people are using Bootstrap anyway. So just embrace it and look at it. So it's kind of cool.
Yep. So Sean wants to know, I fixed the super chat, by the way, I believe.
All right, cool. You're fast.
We'll see. If somebody else super chats us, we'll see if it works. I think I fixed it.
Do we have a coffee cup, Kevin? Do we have one?
We do. I don't have one with me, actually, but we do.
I have several here in the office, but I mean,
say we have internal ones. We don't have one in
about
Teespring at the moment. No, maybe we'll make one in Teespring. We do have the option to put one in Teespring,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah,
so
we'll make
maybe
one. We'll make one for you, Sean.
We had one at one point that was just the straight CF logo on it. Maybe we'll just make the CF brand one on it because
you know what, Sean? You know what, Sean? Kevin, get his information. I'll send him a Tumblr.
Oh, there you go, Sean. DM me on Discord.
Yeah, I'll send you a Tumblr, Sean. I mean, you know, got a job and get the new job start next week. I'll send you a Tumblr. I think I have some left over still, so like, you know, it's easier to ship than the coffee cup. You know, so I definitely think I have a Tumblr. Yeah,
we had we do have internal coffee cups in the office, but they're branded both Foundry and Cortex as well.
Yeah. NC-17 Heroes comments hilarious.
See, here. This is something we maybe should have. This is like product suggestion time. Yeah. That's maybe the beer stein would be a thing.Maybe that's
just a giant.
Yeah, it's a giant. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to our next question. Yeah. So, is Blazor stable and safe? Also, we kind of talked about this a little bit. The big and complex projects in .NET 6.
Yeah, I think WebAssembly definitely, man. I mean, like, you can build stuff on it. You'll see it come out this year. People will be building stuff in it. So, like, yeah, it's safe. It's ready to go. Yep. The only thing that was holding it back a lot of ways was just the hot reload, which is it's been fixed in most scenarios. People argue with me and say it's slow, but like anything compiled is slower than anything that's not compiled. So you have to understand that. So like Blazor applications are compiled. So hot reload does work in a lot of use cases for it. It doesn't work for every use case. But in general, it's ready to go and ready for prime time. That's what they're saying. Fully supported by Microsoft, and you know, it's stable, it's safe, it's cool. So I think you definitely gonna see a lot of people adopt it.
Definitely. So Patricio, it's based on a NASA font, but it's not the NASA font because I didn't quite like the NASA font. So there is a font out there like a NASA font, but I fixed it. I made the W and the M different than the font that they use, and I obviously worked it, but it's based on that.
Ours is definitely modified, so this is like custom Kevin work right here, man. Like you know,
it's not just the font because it didn't look right. It's not
just a font. Yeah,
because right. So
yeah,
you know. But you do
probably have typed in if you got nationalization, you know, and you typed in
which
NASA,
I think is the font name.
That doesn't work. Like,
it doesn't quite. Yeah.
So
it's crazy how C# is used in many different areas of development, like AR, VR, and so many others. I have to say though, JavaScript is similar in that regard.
Yeah, it's similar. I mean, yeah. So like you can use React Native and build things in JavaScript. Is there a JavaScript thing for AR VR? I'm not sure about that. There may be. I could be wrong, but like
if there is, I haven't
seen it. By far,
it.
Unity is the king in this arena, and it's C# on the back end of that. So like, if you're going to be building an AR VR, I think professionally or otherwise, you're going to be writing that most likely in Unity. Could be an Unreal Engine. All of those are going to use C++ or C# on the back end. JavaScript is similar, that it's used in a lot of use cases. Can you write a website with JavaScript? Yeah, 100%. But when it absolutely has to be performant, you'll see the big companies are adopting server-side languages like C#, like Java on the back end, or you know, something like Go or Rust. I will say this, in mobile development arena, when you're running cross-platform, most people are moving away from JavaScript type build-outs. And if you look at that, like Google uses Go and Dart, and that's what they're using to build native apps. iOS has their own language, Swift, and then there's Xamarin, .NET/.NET MAUI is C#. So that's the three big ones, and then there's React Native, which is still JavaScript front end. So I think that those native apps are going to be dominated by what I would call more traditional server-side languages. So like, you know, it is true. Yeah, it's true. I just don't know how much it's used in all of those arenas. So like,
right,
you know, while it can be done, are people actually doing it? Whereas C# is actually being used in a lot of these arenas. You know, so like JavaScript still to this day is still predominantly on the web, and it's not that it's bad; it's necessary that you got to learn it. So it's necessary. So
yep. So Tess wants to know how many weeks it takes. I'm still talking about the Mac here. I want to order one and estimates about 4 to 5 weeks. Yeah, so I ordered it the day after they released. I should have ordered it the first day because I could have got it much quicker. So I ordered it the day after they released, and it's gonna be here on like the 15th, I think is the guess, or 16th, somewhere around there. So whatever time frame that is, it's there is a long time frame on these things, unfortunately.
Yeah,
just how it is.
It's how it is, man.
But yes, order one sooner rather than later, so it comes sooner, right?
Yeah, maybe eventually they might get them into stores or on the website. Where I guess if you're shipping them unmodified, I think you can get them quicker.
That's exactly it. If you order one of the stock options they have, if you order one of the ones that they have literally listed out, spec'd out as they have it, you'll get them much quicker. Yeah. I could have got it on release day had I ordered one of the ones that was spec'd out from their spec. But I didn't want their spec. I wanted the faster chip, but I didn't want to spend $6,000 on, you know, having the crazy memory and stuff that they had spec'd out. So I was like, I don't want to do that. I wanted somewhere in the middle, and I wanted I wanted to choose my drive size and my memory size and all that stuff on the chip. But that meant that it was a custom build, so it just took longer. That's probably why. Yep. So Juggernaut says, so we can use Bootstrap, HTML, CSS, JS, and some backend Azure if we know the basics. Why do so many experts pushing using WordPress?
Okay, so the experts aren't wrong here. What they're talking about is if you're going to build a static website, all right, and you need a content management system, you know, then WordPress is predominant, like this dominating the CMS market.
Oh yeah.
So that's what they're saying. So what do you need to know to do WordPress? Yeah, PHP and some JavaScript and HTML. So like that's not bad advice. What we're talking about in our world is building applications like WordPress. I mean, like,
yeah, so it's like building WordPress instead of using WordPress. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if I'm building an application, then quickly you outpace what WordPress can do. Yes, you can write PHP components, and I get all that, but it becomes more problematic versus like, okay, I just need to write. I want to use some other tooling. When that's where ASP.NET, C# and all those things just really, really shine. When you need to store items in a database, you need to build CRUD functionality, you need to do all these kind of things. That's where it shines. So I think they're two different use cases and two different goals in mind. But if you're building a static website, WordPress is kind of tough to beat for those kind of things. But that's not what we're talking about.
People definitely build careers on WordPress stuff for sure.
You absolutely can.
It's totally a legit thing.
That's not what we're teaching at Coder Foundry, but you absolutely can, and that's what those experts are talking about. That you can win on WordPress. You know, will WordPress be around forever? It looks like it. I mean, will someone rewrite it?
It's been around for a long time now. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, it's possible, but like, you know, I don't see any talk about that. Just, you know, so I haven't heard anything yet about that. So it looks like it's gonna be around for a minute.
There you go. Sean's ordering a Tesla. That's pretty awesome. That's what you should do when you get a new job.
Wow.
You put so much work in to go buy yourself a Tesla. Like, I love it.
You need to send me a Tumblr now, Sean.
Exactly. If you can swing by, Sean, and give us a ride around in your Tesla, that would be awesome.
Test drive. Yeah.
That would be great. Yeah. Okay. One last thing then. ZShock Blade. Thoughts on .NET MAUI?
I think it's huge. It's just going to take them a minute to get there. I do think that this is another one of the game changers Microsoft's putting out. So
I like that they held it. I think it's smart
Mac,
to hold it.
Windows, iOS, Android. Those four, this can do that from just changing the compile target. That is like holy grail type stuff. And there's a community project. I can't vouch for it, but there's a community project to push it to Linux as well. So like, look at that. That is what they're talking about. One code base, one framework, all unified under .NET 6. That's what they're talking about. It's just they need to make sure it's polished at this point, and so that it's ready for prime time.
I think it's smart to hold it back. I think that's smart to hold it back. If they'd released it and it wasn't ready, like it would just get so much hate. There's no point. Just hold it back. Take the time to make sure it's right, because this is going to be game changing.
It's game changer. Like no one can do this.
No one else has this. So no one else has a version of this.
I'm sure Flutter will try, and the other ones will try, but I can tell you that when you just read the blogs on it, man, it is a engineering challenge to make this work on all those different platforms. Just the controls and rendering the right control and the right view and make it look native and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of cool. I like it. I'm excited about it. Yep. So, and if you're out there and say Flutter already does that, let me know. I like to see it. So like, just suck it up on it. But I think that this is a game changer. .NET ML is exciting.
Yep. Hold on, just to clarify this point too. Juggernaut wants to know, so we can ignore WordPress. Yes and no. I mean, you can if you don't want to go with WordPress, but
yeah. So like, if you're not going to build a WordPress career, I don't use WordPress. I don't know if I ever have. I mean, so like, what I'm saying is, if I had to build a business on customizable CMSs, I would have to really look into WordPress to see if that's where I wanted to go and what I would use. I would say that's the predominant one, but if I'm building a web application today, I'm not using WordPress to build a web application for sure. I'm not doing that.
Right.
But but if someone needed a content management system, I had to push a bunch of these sites out. You got to pick something. You got to use some. I would use a CMS of some type. So I'd be looking at WordPress. It's more customizable than say Squarespace or Wix.
Yeah.
We use.
But it's also more complex.
Full disclosure. We use a CMS to build coderfoundry.com. I mean, we're using a CMS to build the course site. So like, those things are because we don't want to rebuild all that functionality. But like, we also, in the days we run into, we're like, man, it's like. All that thing can do.
I know.
We wish we had a full web page. So
some days we're like, man, I wish we'd have built this. Other days we're like, I'm glad we didn't build this.
Because it's fast. I mean, so like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've got to. There's pros and cons with everything, isn't there? So it's like there's pros with the WordPress site, you get a lot of stuff out of the box, but there are limitations unless you can extend it with PHP stuff. It's like it is definitely. It does have limitations. That's just the nature of the beast.
But it's dominant. It's dominant. And then when you add on Gatsby and things like that on top of that, that can generate static files out of that. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of cool to build websites like that.
Yeah.
But I think there's just two different things. There's a web application. That's what we're talking about. And then there's websites, like your restaurant or your .com site for your customer marketing site. That's a lot of that's done with WordPress. Yep. Anyway, I hope that helps.
Let's wrap it up. Let's go grab some tacos.
Go watch some .NET stuff. That's what I'm gonna do. Let's all focus on getting a job this year. And if we can be your teacher, your coach, your mentor, we would love to help you out here at Coder Foundry. If not, go to Unity, go to university, go do something else. Jump in with both feet, learn how to code this year. And hopefully, with our shameless plug there, hey man, come to Coder Foundry. We'd love to help you out. But if we can't, and we're not the right school for you, that's okay. We're still going to be friends, and we want you to succeed in this new shift that's going on this year. So check it out. All right. Good luck, guys. Keep coding. We'll see you on Thursday.
See you guys later.